Schneider's Bakery episodes are like Newton's third law. For every episode, there is an equal and opposite episode. Meaning, every time there's an episode that brings up a concept and does it poorly, there's another episode somewhere out there in the Schneiderverse that does the same concept way better. Hey guys, PIEGUYRULZ here, and welcome back to the Bizarro Bakery, where I take a look at episodes that do things way better than their counterparts on the bottom of the bakery. So the 6th episode of the bottom of the bakery was my first coverage of a Henry Danger episode, Kid Grounded. The problem with the episode was the problem with most Henry Danger episodes in that it's just really poorly paced and it has a lot of filler content that you could easily cut out. A lot of people speculated that I would cover an episode about characters getting grounded or detention or something from an earlier Schneider's Bakery show like iCarly or Drake and Josh, but instead of doing that, I thought I would actually take a look at a Henry Danger episode that I genuinely like. The episode is known as The Bucket Trap. If Kid Grounded is really disgusting hypoallergenic soy paste, then the Bucket Trap is a respectable soy cake. Considering the ingredients, it's actually pretty decent, and miles better than that disgusting goop over there. And it was cooked in a bucket. In the Bucket Trap, Henry and Charlotte want to tell Jasper, and I'm gonna call him Jasper for this, because in this episode his character does serve a really good purpose, so I'll honor and respect that. They want to tell Jasper about their secret about working with Captain Man, but Ray doesn't want them telling him because he doesn't seem like he can keep a secret, and if the secret gets out, then villains would be able to easily target Henry's family and the man cave. But Charlotte and Henry feel really bad about having to keep the secret from their friend, so they make a deal with Ray that if Jasper could keep a fake secret for a week, they'll be allowed to tell him that Henry is a superhero. Jasper tries really hard to keep this fake secret, but Ray tries to force it out of Jasper using bucket tactics, by tempting him with a bucket that Jasper really wants. Jasper is on the cusp of telling Ray a bunch of times, but eventually accidentally does so when Ray tricks him. This episode is not to be confused with the recent episode, I Know Your Secret, in which they actually do tell Jasper about Henry's secret. So here's why I like this episode. It is one central conflict that they set up early on that's easy to understand, that slowly progresses throughout the episode. Every scene is relevant to the story, and Jasper and Piper are also a part of it. And they're not annoying like they can be in other episodes. Piper doesn't really yell or scream here. Her little subplot is that she's become a life coach, which is just a thinly veiled way for her to criticize people while they think that she's helping them. It works a lot better than her usual persona because here she's more clever and subtle about how she annoys people, which is a lot more fun to watch than just a screaming, whining, social media obsessed brat. And her little subplot becomes relevant to the main plot when Jasper goes to her for help of how to keep the secret, which is pretty cool because she still gets to be her antagonistic self while also actually helping progress the story. And speaking of the story, what's great about it is that it is a typical sitcom farce. Character A has a secret that he's trying desperately to keep, even though he's not very good at keeping secrets, and character B is trying to force that secret out of him. And it has the nuance that character B already knows the secret, and the entire thing is just a test to see whether or not Jasper can be trusted. It's nothing brilliant, it's nothing new, but this sort of story just works very well for a sitcom. And there's just enough of a spin on it, being whether or not they should reveal Henry's secret identity, that it does feel somewhat different and fresh. The episode is certainly miles better than most of the stuff that they put out on this show, and at the very least, it is incredibly competent. Another great thing about this episode is that all the characters have motivations for what they're doing. Unlike in a certain other episode where Henry just randomly becomes sexist for a few minutes, everyone here has a reason. Piper likes doing her little life coach thing, which ties into things. Jasper is really trying hard to keep the secret, but obviously has a weakness for buckets, and at the end of the day is easily fooled. Henry and Charlotte have a good reason for wanting their friend to know his secret identity because they don't think it's really fair that he doesn't know, but at the same time, Captain Man does have a very good point about how Jasper is a big goofball, and it's very important that their secret identities are kept. And that's consistent through the whole episode. Now, I will admit that even though Ray has a point about keeping his secret identity away from Jasper, he comes off as a total jerk and is definitely the antagonist of the episode. But he makes a pretty fun antagonist, and in other episodes, it's been pretty well established that he can be kind of a jerk. So personally, I think it fits, and I think it helps make the episode a little bit more interesting than if he had been a lot nicer to Jasper in trying to get the secret from him. Oh, and it's because of this reason that the stakes feel pretty high. I mean, if Jasper gets to find find out about the secret identity, the entire dynamic of the show changes. And from Captain Man's perspective, it's the beginning of the end for keeping a secret identity. And since you aren't sure if Jasper is going to tell or not, since it really seems like it could go either way, the scenes between Ray and Jasper come off as pretty tense. Oh, and did I mention that the fake secret is that Charlotte and Henry are dating, which makes both of them incredibly awkward and adds a nice little wrinkle to the episode where the two have to pretend to be a couple in front of Jasper, even though neither of them is into it. As far as the comedy goes, I'm not gonna say it's good or great or anything, but I will say that when an episode works like this one, personally, I find the jokes to be more tolerable, and there's even a few that I kinda chuckle at. I don't necessarily think that the jokes are any better in this episode than any other Henry Danger episode, but because I feel better about the plot in general, I'm in a better mood, and so I'm more liable to laugh at certain things that I probably wouldn't have if the story had been terrible. Just like good comedy can improve a kinda lackluster story, good story can improve kinda lackluster comedy. So there you go. One clear story from start to finish where every scene is important, including the subplot. Every character has an understandable motivation for their actions. The stakes are high. Jasper and Piper both serve a purpose. And there's some great tension in the episode. It really just works in a way that an episode like Kid Grounded that just kind of muddles about with all these little conflicts that mean nothing and a lot of random, boring, pointless scenes really does not. So if you want to see a Henry Danger episode that is actually pretty good, I recommend checking this one out. Not a must-see, but I do recommend it. PIEGUYRULZ, out.